Yo, what's up, guys? Let's find some bets. There is a ton of NBA games today, so hopefully we can find some good plays. So why don't we first just see how many, what is on the slate today? So I'll share my screen. Wow, the Jazz are huge underdogs. So we got a ton of NBA games starting at 4 p.m. Some close ones, Pelicans, Clippers. But anyways, without further ado, let's find some plays. PrizePicks has a 6-pick. It's a promo they run every Friday. It's called Flex Friday. Basically, your first bet of the day is risk-free up to $20. So if this play loses, we got our money back up to $20. So no-brainer play to take advantage of. But anyways, without further ado, let's kind of get into it. Let's look for some bets. So in these live streams, I try to focus on the main books, PrizePicks, Underdog Fantasy. Hopefully there's some value in the market, which it seems like there is. So we can kind of start out here. Maybe we start out on PrizePicks. Or we can take a look at Fliff as well. And there's some new fantasy books that have launched. So for example, this new book, I gave out a play on Twitter. It's called Dabble. Sure, it's not the most popular book, but it works just like PrizePicks and Underdog. The only difference is they have different lines, right? All these books have different lines from one another. Also, all these books have sign-up bonuses. So even if you don't use like ParlayPlay a lot, they have a $100 deposit match. You put in 100, you get 100 for free. And every single Friday, they do like a 20% deposit bonus up to $250. So literally, you get a free $50 every Friday. You put in $250, you get $50 for free. So it's worth having more books because, like, if you look at this play, Brunson, assists, like the value is on his over 7.5. If you look at PrizePicks, they have his line at 8. So the value goes away, right? There's a big difference between betting over 7.5 and over 8 long term. It may not seem like a huge difference, but whoa, we got a Fliff play. So why don't we start out on Fliff, and we can play this as a straight bet. You can see there's a shit ton of value on FanDuel right now, but maybe we lock in this play on Fliff to start. So Fliff is a sports book. It's legal in, basically every state, which is the nice thing about Fliff. They have a max bet size of $250. So let's move quickly. I always say this, but like there is a speed component to sports betting. If there's a good line, you don't know how long it's going to last, so you want to try to move as quickly as possible. So let's go ahead and let's just lock this in. Fliff has a max bet size of 250. So I hit this for 250, and you want to use Fliff Cash. These Fliff coins, I bet 1 million Fliff coins. It's fake money, like it doesn't matter. You want to use Fliff Cash, which is, what I ended up using. So we hit this for 250, and that'll be our first play. That'll be our first play for today. Over 4.5 assists. And like, it's pretty clear, like, what is Fliff doing? Every other sports book, you can see here, you can kind of look at the line movements. Every other book has ripped him to being a pretty heavy favorite to go over 4.5 assists, right? Fliff is the only book that has his under favored. Fliff has his under at -135. They have his under juiced. But all these other books, Pinnacle, Bet Online, which are sharper sports books, they all have his over heavily favored. So it's like, what is Fliff doing? I don't know. And a common question is like, why are you comparing sportsbook odds? Why don't you just look at last 5 historical data? And every game is different. Everything is baked into the market. Lineups, injuries, betting volume, sharp action. It's all reflected in the odds, right? Like Caesars has ripped him to being a bigger favorite. They initially had him -113 to go over. Now he's down to -148. Maybe the lineups changed and he's more likely to go over now. Who knows, right? It's all baked into the market though, which is why, ruthlessly comparing these books, super fragmented. All these books are trying to set their own lines. It's why ruthlessly comparing, sportsbook odds is a great way to make money and a great way to get an edge. It's an easy way to get an edge. So there's a shit ton of bets on FanDuel right now, but where should we go to next? So maybe let's start out on PrizePicks because why not? And we can take a look at Underdog Fantasy. Like I use a bunch of these books because again, like you never know which book is going to have the best value on a given day. It kind of depends. Sometimes there's a lot of bets on PrizePicks. Sometimes it's Underdog Fantasy. So Underdog Fantasy, the board's a little dry right now. We can check ParlayPlay. So let's go here and, ParlayPlay, it looks like has some decent value. So maybe this is something we want to go with. So ParlayPlay, it's not like the most popular book. But again, I don't really care where I'm betting. If there's value, there's value. And ParlayPlay, again, it has the exact same payouts as PrizePicks, 25 to 0.4 if you play a 6-pick entry. The only difference is all these books have different lines from one another. So what we can do is we can actually go back here. Man, there's just so many games today. There's a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of bets we could place. But let's filter out FanDuel for now. And then what we can do is we can go to ParlayPlay. So let's just load it in. So it is loaded in. Okay, perfect. Let me just make sure I have it filtered in right here. So let's go here. Do I have it filtered into my settings? ParlayPlay. And it does look like I have it in my settings. So let's go here. Let's go back to the positive EV tool. And maybe let's lock in a play on ParlayPlay. We already locked in this play on Fliff, and then we can go over to PrizePicks. So ParlayPlay, what do we have? You can see there's a bunch of different bets. So the first play it's recommending is, Jalen Williams over 16.5 points. And then you can see you can use the optimizer too. I mean, you'll see a lot of the same bets on both. So where do we want to start? So let's take a look. Brandon Miller over 14.5 points. Cade Cunningham under 8.5 assists. So again, the way that ParlayPlay works, it's very similar to PrizePicks. Well, it's exactly the same as PrizePicks. The way it works is, you take a player's over or under, you get the same payout regardless. So why would we want to take Cunningham's under? Is again, just follow the data, follow the market data points. These sports books have really good models, really sophisticated. They're taking bets, moving around lines based on where sharp action's coming in. They all have Cunningham heavily favored to go under. So follow the data and hit his under. So we can start out there, and then we can see what other plays are recommended. So Siakam over 35.5 PRAs. So what we can do is we can go to Siakam. We can go to his player points plus rebounds plus assists. Let's actually just pull it up right here, and we can take a look and just kind of, see the data real quickly. And then we'll go on to PrizePicks after we lock in this ParlayPlay slip real quickly. So you can see all these other, fantasy sites, PrizePicks, Underdog, all these sports books have Siakam's line at 36.5. ParlayPlay is just chilling at 35.5. All these other books, it's like the best advice I got when sports betting is kind of treat it like trading a stock. If we could buy a stock at a discount relative to the market, that's probably a pretty good deal. So we can go to Siakam over 35.5. Then we have Fox under 4.5 rebounds. This plays in the same game, so maybe we skip it over. And again, sometimes the value is in these more niche markets. So if you look at this play on Tatum, so if we go to player points plus rebounds and we look at Tatum real quickly, and I try to move quickly just because some of these lines will move somewhat fast. So let's go here, right? And we have Tatum under 35.5 points plus rebounds. And this game obviously has blowout potential, but that's all baked into the market. But you can see it's okay, all these other books have his line at 34.5. The Celtics, again, if you just look at the money line odds, they're huge favorites, minus 900. So hopefully it's, a blowout. Tatum sitting out most of the fourth. He goes under. So it's okay, we got a second good play to go with. Then we have RJ Barrett to get a steal. We already have Siakam. So sure, whatever. We can take this play as well. RJ Barrett to get a steal. And, it's a kind of random, market seemingly, but it's all the books have his over heavily favored. We want to be on the over. There's a play on Scotty Barnes, but we're already taking Siakam's over in PRAs, so it doesn't really make sense to take Barnes over in PRAs. So we have 4 good picks, and it's okay, ideally we can find some more plays. So let's go back here. And let's lock in a slip quickly before we, ideally go over to PrizePicks next. And you can see there's just a shit ton of value on this Dabble platform right now. Not the most popular book. It's a new book, but they have pretty good betting limits. And if that's where the value is, that's where we'll be betting. So we have Jalen Williams over 16.5 points. So where is it? Jalen Williams over 16.5 points. And on ParlayPlay, you can either play 6-pick entries with insurance. We have Alex Caravan over 13.5 points. So this is a college basketball play. So let's go back here, and then we want to take him over 13.5 points. So we have a college basketball play. So the optimal slip type on ParlayPlay, it's pretty similar. is either these 6-pick insured entries, so with insurance, or 7-pick entries with no insurance. So what do we want to take as our final pick? I mean, we already have Cade Cunningham's under. Maybe we take, sure. Ovechkin plus Seth Jarvis under 6 shots on goal. So that can be the final pick we go with, and whatever. So you can see they already bumped this down to 5. Oh no, they didn't. There's 2 different options. So we can play this as a 7-pick entry. Again, if you're playing 7 picks, no insurance, they only give you a max bet size of $35. I mean, this is a 75x payout. They're obviously not going to hit most of the time. And are you serious? Please enable location services to place your pick. So I'm going to have to refresh this quickly and then, reload them real briefly, and then we'll go over to PrizePicks. So I want to take Cade Cunningham under 8.5 assists. We want Siakam over in PRAs. And again, what's nice about ParlayPlay is you can kind of like make your own little Taco Tuesday. You can only do this once per day, but you can bump a line in the direction you want to bump it in. So if you like Siakam, we already like the value on Siakam. We can bump him down to 34 if we want to. But anyways, let's just skip over that for now. I'm trying to move quickly. So we want Tatum under in points plus rebounds, because then I want to go over to PrizePicks. So we'll take him under in points plus rebounds. We want RJ Barrett to get a steal, Jalen Williams over in points. So we want Williams over in points, right? And then we want RJ Barrett to get a steal. So we want over. And then we have 2 final picks we need to load in before the lines move and hopefully get this down. And then we want Cunningham under 8.5. Did I miss anything? So we want him over in points. And then we want the Jarvis play to go under with Ovechkin in the combo prop. So there's usually some pretty good value in these combo props. I don't bet them super often, but hey, like whatever. So let's lock it in. So they already moved the line on Siakam. So they moved the line on Siakam. I was too fucking slow. But what we can do is we can just go here. So they moved the line on Siakam. I think there was a play on Scotty Barnes over in PRAs. So what we can do is just go back here. We can go to Scotty Barnes and take this play, which had solid value as well instead. And I really view it. So they already moved the fucking line on Seth Jarvis as well. So let's go back here. Let's refresh this one more time and hopefully try to find a final pick, because they're bumping lines left and right on us. So we have Mercer plus Bedard to record a goal. So what we can do is we can go here and just, again, like speed is important. Try to move quick. Boom, boom, $35, 75x payout. So there we go. We got our first play down, but now let's go over to PrizePicks. And there's a ton of NBA games today, so we should be able to find some, pretty good plays. So this is the first play if you want to tail. And again, on Fliff, we're on Alperin over 4.5 assists at -115 odds. I'm sure there will be a lot more bets later today, especially as like lineups start to come out. Like, a lot of the line movements when you find these inefficiencies in the market, these really good bets, is like a lot of it's based on lineup changes, injuries, who's sitting out, who's not sitting out. If LeBron's not playing, like Anthony Davis's line has to move. Like it affects the entire market. But anyways, let's go back here. Shit ton of value on Dabble right now. We already have this play on Fliff. Dabble, like there's not a way for me to bet it. I think it's a great book. You should definitely get it. There's a lot of value. They have a kind of crappy sign-up bonus. It's only, it's not as lucrative of a sign-up bonus. But anyways, let's go here, and then we can go to Underdog. Is there any more value on Underdog? Jalen Warren over 9 rushing attempts. But anyways, let's just go to PrizePicks. Let's try to find some stuff. So the first play that OddsJam is recommending is right here, right? So we got a college football play. We got Jalen under 69.5 receiving yards. Obviously fading Washington, especially after last game. I mean, especially when we expect it to be a shootout, is a little scary. But again, like, when you just follow the data, you kind of take your emotions out of it. Like following the data never lies long-term. You'll make money. So if we take a look here, nope, I want to go to receiving yards. I apologize. Is we can take a look and you can see Jalen, like every other book has his line around 60, 60.5. So all this fantasy optimizer does is point out value in the market. So PrizePicks has his line, 10 yards roughly, 9 yards, 8 yards too high relative to the rest of the market. So the value's on the under, right? And then what you can see is there's also value. I mean, again, I'm aware, like, a very scary player to fade, but they also, like, I'm not sure why they have all these college football lines overinflated. But again, finding value in the market, that's like the first step to being profitable. If you don't want to fade Penix, you don't have to, but you can see here, they have his line too. It's kind of like selling a stock at 300.5 when it's trading in the market at 292.5. So many people like to go, oh, but he had 430 pass yards last game. It's like, well, he's playing Michigan, better defense, yada, yada, yada. Like, we're just following the data, and everything is baked into the market. Everything. If all the sharp bettors, if you just think about it, like if all the smart people, all the sharp sports bettors, the syndicates, the pros start hammering him to go over, sportsbooks will move his lineup. That's just how it works. It's a market. These books are constantly reacting, adjusting their odds, adjusting their lines to new information. So those are the first two plays we can start with. And then you can see there's some plays on the positive EV tool. So the first play is Terry under 4.5 receptions. So I actually already have him over in receiving yards in this, in my protected slip. But like sometimes there's value on an under in receptions and an over in receiving yards, especially depending on the plays you pair with. And again, the way that PrizePicks works is just like ParlayPlay. We take him to go over, right? We get a 5x payout. We take him to go under. We get the same payout, a 5x payout. So why do we want to take the under? Well, look at the sports books. Right? They all have ripped his odds towards the under. I mean, pretty aggressively. Maybe, I don't know if something changed or whatever, but you can see all the books have him heavily favored to go under. So we're just following the data points in the market. And then what else did we have? We had Donovan Mitchell under 5.5 rebounds. So in the Cavs game, so we can go back here. And it seems like such a random slip. We have Donovan Mitchell under 5.5 rebounds. But again, like all these tools are doing is scanning the tens of thousands of lines on PrizePicks and trying to point out the few spots where, hey, maybe this is a good play you want to go with. It's a profitable play because all the books, are telling you Mitchell is a lot more likely to go under as opposed to over. You don't have to figure all this stuff out yourself. Like you can just look at sportsbook odds and ruthlessly compare the odds on sportsbooks, to PrizePicks and get an edge that way. So then we have Max Strus. I don't know how I feel about this, like taking Mitchell under, Strus over. So probably you just want to pair like, two of these picks together. If the game's a blowout, most likely like Strus and Mitchell will be out of the game. So what we can do is we can skip over that play and we can go to Rozier under 35.5. And it should be a great day for sports betting in general, just because there's so many games. So what we can do is we can go to points plus rebounds plus assists, and we can take a look at Rozier very briefly. Like, why is this play being recommended? How do we know it's good? So if we take a look here at Rozier, you can see, like, did PrizePicks already move his line down? So you can see PrizePicks already bumped his line down. So speed it's frustrating, but it's, sometimes it's just like you got to move quickly to get down the best possible bets. So what we can do is we can just refresh this and try to find something else to go with because they already bumped this first play, which is frustrating, but just kind of how it is. Here we go. Beautiful. So this is a new play that just popped up. Pope to record a turnover. I mean, it's such a random bet, but hey, if that's where the value is, I guess that's what we'll be betting. And you can see, just like looking at the odds, DraftKings, his over's a minus 140 favorite. Fliff, his over's a minus 160 favorite. So that seems pretty good. And then the final play we can go with is McCollum under 5 assists. And the reason I want to play this as a 6 flex is you'll see they add a payout shift because I have two positively correlated plays here. They add a payout shift for these 5-pick entries. But if you make a 6-pick entry, so if we go here and we add McCollum under 5 assists, there's no payout shift. This is like the regular payout, the same payout we're getting on ParlayPlay, 25 2.4. And again, like I would slam this for 500, but they have me limited, unfortunately, to $25 max bet sizes, which sucks, but that's just kind of how it is. If you're making money on a sports book, they may cut down your bet sizes a bit. And that's another reason why I definitely recommend sign up for Dabble, sign up for ParlayPlay, because Dabble, you can get down basically however much money you want, up to like $500, it seems like. And there's really good value on this platform. I mean, there's just a ton of good plays. So sure, it's not as popular as PrizePicks, but if you want to fucking make money, it's a great book to have because there's a lot of value on it. So better, the board is dry, so we can go back here, and then we can take a look here. So you can just kind of see, I have a bunch of different sports books filtered in. I mean, I can add FanDuel, DraftKings back in. Depending on where you're located, you may use different books, but you can see a lot of the value is on FanDuel and Dabble, at least right now. Some days it's different. Some days PrizePicks has more value. Fliff, we found one really good play. Best advice I got, treat it like trading a stock. We're buying the stock at 115 when the rest of the market has the stock priced around 140. It's just a no-brainer. And you can see it's largely dominated by FanDuel and Dabble. We can actually see, is there anything on Underdog? I mean, there's some value on Underdog. Bam, under 10 rebounds. DeMar DeRozan, under 5.5 assists. So there's some value, it seems like, on Underdog, but maybe not enough to make a slip. DeRozan under 5.5 assists, but anyways, we can see if anything new comes up on PrizePicks. I kind of bounce around from book to book, tool to tool. Sometimes there's good arbitrage plays, sometimes there's not. It just kind of depends. So arbitrage, if you're not aware, is when two books have such different odds. Like you can see right here, all these books set their own odds. It's when two books have such different odds that you can bet equal and opposite outcomes, hit the over on FanDuel at plus 170, the under on DraftKings at minus 160, and make a risk-free profit. You're essentially day trading the books to make, a risk-free profit. I mean, here's one between FanDuel and Fliff. So you essentially, Fliff has a max bet size of 250. It's only $4 in risk-free profit, but it takes 20 seconds to lock in these bets on Fliff and FanDuel. And then, so let's get rid of these fantasy books. Ballybet, I don't use. So anyways, you can see okay, this seems like a good arbitrage play. I mean, if you want to make some risk-free money, that's not a bad play to go with. But anyways, we can go back here, see what else, anything coming up, Underdog, PrizePicks. Underdog, PrizePicks, ParlayPlay, Sleeper. Board's kind of dry. Board's a little bit dry. We can look at better picks. A little bit of value, especially as you get closer to game time. Like right now it's 1. The games start at 4. As official starting lineups start to come out, there's a lot of line movements, substitutions, who's going to be starting, who's not going to start. And you can make some good money on that. But anyways, we'll call this live stream a day for now. Maybe I'll be back on live later. But thanks so much for your time.